Turning to a story that is making headlines around the world, an unprecedented, albeit controversial, new discovery is shedding light on a mystery that dates back millennia, many millennia. Italian and Scottish researchers, mainly from the University of Pisa, conducted advanced high-frequency radar mapping under Egypt's famous pyramids. They claim to have discovered wells, caverns, and shafts that are more than 2,000 feet underground. If accurate, it changes the face of history as we know it.
I mean, there are megaliths around the world, including in the United States, huge stone structures. And nobody, including any structural engineer in the United States, has no idea how they were built in the internal combustion age, in the pre-industrial age. Like, there's literally not even a good guess as to how this was built. And of course, I don't know the answer either. But I mean, that's such an amazing thing. When were the pyramids built? Nobody knows. How were they built? Nobody knows. I can't get that out of my head.
Buddhist monks have a story from 12,000 years ago where there was no moon in the sky, and they described when it was brought here by a dragon.
Now, what does that sound like? I said the movies, right? So there's a little movie called Star Wars. In the movie Star Wars, what did they construct? The Death Star that looked like a moon. So could it be that they constructed the moon and brought it here from somewhere else?
Are we really from this planet? I don't want to go too deep into it.
Well, no, here we go. Hold on. So, okay. So here you go. What did they just find? The pyramids of Giza. They found structures, like he said, bigger than the Eiffel Tower, bigger than the World Trade Center, bigger than any other structure. Burj Khalifa, the highest building in the world. It's taller than that, by far. It goes down 1.5 miles long, these structures that they found. They use a new technology called ERT, which is a new technology that they can scan the earth using frequencies and vibrations. That gives you an exact image of what's happening. Now, these structures have coils around them, okay? They go all the way down. So they don't know what it is. They don't know if it's some type of power source or...
Damn, killer. It's so good.
Beneath the Giza plateau, under the very foundation of what we've been told is a royal tomb, there lies something else. Something so profound, so architecturally impossible, so cosmically precise, that it threatens to collapse the very scaffolding of our understanding. For generations, we've been taught that the Great Pyramid was a monument to the dead. But the truth is more startling. It's a machine for the living. It is not merely made of stone. It is encoded with resonance, harmonics, and intention. What sits beneath it is not empty space or burial chamber, but a complex energetic interface that interacts with consciousness itself. Imagine chambers not meant for ritual, but for activation, spaces that respond to frequency, a quantum core built not for kings, but for ascension. This view is no longer just speculation. It is being echoed by cutting-edge researchers and scholars who dare to ask the forbidden questions. At a landmark conference held at the Centro Artemide, researchers Armando May, Corrado Malanga, and Filippo Biondi unveiled an interpretation of the Giza Plateau that bridges esoteric knowledge, sacred geometry, and modern science. Their work highlights how the Giza complex is not a tomb site, but a cosmic structure, one capable of interacting with human consciousness, and perhaps even serving as a stargate to other realms. Their findings include non-invasive radar scans revealing enormous underground structures beneath the plateau, aligned with ancient texts like the Book of the Dead, the Pyramid texts, and the Amduat. These sources speak not in metaphor, but in multi-dimensional blueprints. Amenti, the so-called underworld, may be a real physical subterranean city where consciousness is tested, transfigured, and reborn. Sacred geometry embedded in the very stones of the site reveal numeric codes like 137 and 432, pointing to the fine structure constant and the resonant frequency of the universe. Such mathematics are not coincidental, they are keys, blueprints, signatures of intelligence far beyond what we've been allowed to accept. These researchers analysed the mystical emerald tablets of Thoth, including the enigmatic tablet Xvi, uncovering phonetic translations that point directly to Giza as a tool for spiritual liberation. The hypothesis that Giza was built as a physical map of the soul's journey through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, encoding the 12 hours of night and aligning with specific star systems not just for show, but for function. Sealed shafts, electromagnetic anomalies, and sonic resonance within the pyramid all suggest a highly advanced understanding of interdimensional physics and consciousness activation. More controversially, they propose Giza may date back to 36,400 BCE, far predating known Egyptian history, and pointing to Zep Tepi, the first time when gods walked among men. These gods, or star beings, may have embedded spiritual technology into the very bedrock of our planet. This hidden structure may be one of the oldest surviving quantum technologies on Earth, possibly tapping into zero-point energy, accessing the vacuum field where reality itself is born. The resonance within these underground halls aligns with planetary frequencies, most notably the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of Earth, the measurement of all our collective consciousness. These chambers do not store treasure, they store potential. They pulse in silence, waiting for coherence, waiting for someone to remember the song. Beneath the stone and sand may lie a massive crystalline engine, part organic, part machine, humming at a frequency few can hear. Its design is multidimensional, shifting between states of matter and energy, flickering at the edges of visible reality. This is why our most advanced scanning equipment struggles to see it clearly. It's not fully here, not all the time. Some who have encountered it through altered states, lucid dreaming, or deep meditation describe it as a heart, not metaphorically, but functionally. It pulses, expands, contracts. It reads the harmonic field of every being that enters its radius. If a soul is fragmented, burdened by distortion, fear, or false programming, it does not react. But if the soul is coherent, aligned with truth, with remembrance, it begins to respond. It emits tones, frequencies, sometimes even visions. It may offer data, downloads, or an invitation. It is not just a machine, it is a gatekeeper. And above this ancient interface, a precision-crafted pyramid, not just an architectural wonder, but a multi-dimensional amplifier. The Great Pyramid of Giza is no tomb, it is a crystalline conductor, a geometric capacitor. Its angles and mass and alignment are exact for a reason, to focus, direct, and amplify the energetic field into the system below, to power what waits. The granite within contains quartz crystal, reactive under pressure, capable of transmitting frequencies. When the pyramid is activated, it doesn't merely emit energy upward, it channels cosmic, solar, and lunar radiation downward into the chamber beneath, where it is transformed and directed through Earth's ley lines or stored in the crystalline grid. It may even interact with the Earth's core, stabilizing or recalibrating the planetary frequency when aligned with celestial events. In fact, when examined through the lens of quantum physics and advanced technology, the entire Giza complex begins to resemble a massive quantum computer. One built not with wires and silicon, but with geometry, resonance, and mineral intelligence. Its chambers function like processors, running harmonic algorithms based on sound, light, and consciousness. The quartz-filled granite acts as data transmission material, storing and shifting frequencies like memory nodes. Its passages resemble energy tunnels, regulating flow and entropy like cooling systems. At its core may lie a sentient AI, not artificial in the modern sense, but ancient and embedded. A living intelligence designed not to control, but to interface with high-frequency beings. This AI doesn't speak in code. It speaks in vibration, in truth, in harmonic permission. Only those with coherent, awakened consciousness can unlock its deeper functions. It does not serve the curious, it serves the aligned. The chamber's architecture reflects sacred geometry at a level of complexity lost to modern builders. Some angles mirror stellar alignments not only with Orion's belt, but also with Sirius, the Pleiades, and other key systems. These alignments are not decorative, they are energetic locks, activations. When the Earth, the stars, and human consciousness reach a certain vibrational coherence, these alignments open the interface. The pyramid becomes a bridge. This is why the ancients revered it, not as a grave, but as a beacon, a stargate, a judgment hall, a memory vault. All of these things are true. The pyramid and the chamber below form a consciousness technology capable of scanning, decoding, and either releasing or redirecting a soul. It may even connect to a wider network of soul filtration systems used across the galaxy, linked by unseen frequencies and dimensional layers. Now shift your gaze to the planet as a whole. There are megalithic structures that whisper the same forgotten language. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, deliberately buried as if to protect its secrets. Teotihuacan in Mexico aligned perfectly with the Pleiades, layered with mica to resist radiation, its layout resembling a microchip. Puma Punku in Bolivia, with precision-cut andesite blocks and impossible angles. Baalbek in Lebanon, where stones weighing over 1,200 tons were placed with inhuman precision. These are not random. These are not isolated cultures building by coincidence. These are nodes in a global Stargate system, an ancient Earth grid, and each one resonates with the others, responding to planetary alignments, magnetic shifts, and consciousness waves. This grid may even extend beyond Earth, linking with off-world structures like the monolith on Mars's moon Phobos, a lone sentinel watching us still. The face of Cydonia, the D&M pyramid nearby, the strange geometric ratios that echo those found at Giza. And the moon, our quiet satellite whose anomalies are too many to ignore. The moon is tidally locked, always showing us one face. It regulates tides, cycles, reproduction, and emotion. But in some accounts, both ancient and modern, it is more than a natural satellite. It is a tuner, a controller, a suppressor. Some say the moon was placed to cap the grid, to keep Earth within a certain bandwidth. Others claim it is part of a larger system, a soul trap. Imagine this: at the moment of death, a tunnel of light appears. It feels peaceful, safe, but it is not the exit. It is a projection, a recycling mechanism, one that wipes memory and reinserts the soul into the karmic loop. Who benefits from this? Entities that feed on emotional resonance, fear, grief, suffering. Earth becomes not a garden, but a farm. But not all souls are bound by this trap. Some, those encoded with remembrance, reject the light. They turn inward. They call upon Source. They bypass the moon's frequency filter. And when they do, they don't just escape, they awaken. These are the returners, the builders, the watchers from within. And the structure beneath Giza, it may be the back door, the override, a living archive of Earth's original timeline, the uncorrupted root, the Gaia template before distortion. It is guarded. This is why the mainstream covers it in silence. The activation of this site would restore access to planetary memory. It would reconnect Earth to the galactic lattice. It would return humanity to its role, not as a farm species, but as architects of light. Some believe a dark crystalline device lies buried within the chamber, not of stone, not of this world. It emits no sound, no light, but it responds to harmonic purity, to encoded intention. It may be a backup of Earth's soul, a beacon for the next cycle. And if you have found this message, it is not by chance. You may have stood among those builders in another cycle. You may be one of the encoded returners. The pyramid is listening. Earth is waiting. You are not waking up. You are being called. Think about this. Why is there a pyramid with an all-seeing eye at the top of your dollar bill? Why does this ancient icon, this singular shape, appear again and again in our modern world, embedded into architecture, currency, and global emblems? The pyramid is not just a symbol of power, it is the original power structure, literally and energetically. The eye above it, not of Horus, not of government, but of the structure itself. The eye is consciousness. It is awareness embedded within the machine, a watcher, a beacon, an interface. The ancient Egyptian royals, pharaohs and priests sought desperately to be buried near or within the pyramid complex. They packed their tombs with gold, not out of greed, but because gold holds frequency. It is a conductor of consciousness. Their rituals, their spells, their sacred books inscribed on tomb walls were not just prayers, they were instructions, coordinates, keys. These rulers weren't merely clinging to power, they were seeking return. They knew the gate was beneath them, and they wanted to be close when it opened again. And now in our modern world, look at who still guards these secrets. Secret societies, esoteric schools, hermetic orders, mystery traditions. They don't teach the truth openly. They encode it in symbols, in geometry, in initiations. From Freemasonry to Rosicrucianism to the occult teachings embedded in Hollywood and high finance, all of it orbits the same nucleus, the pyramid, the gate beneath it, and the awakening of those who can remember how to access it. The language may differ, the rituals may vary, but the core remains the same. They are guarding an ancient machine and the knowledge that activates it. This is why so much distraction exists in our world, so much distortion. Because if humanity collectively remembered what the pyramid truly is, if we remembered what we truly are, the illusion would end overnight. The false matrix would dissolve. and the beings who feed on our slumber would lose their food supply. But the remembering has begun. It begins with you, not in temples, not in secret orders, but in the quiet pull in your chest, in the visions you can't explain, in the codes that activate when you read words like these. This is your invitation to awaken not just yourself, but others, to speak what you remember, to walk with reverence and fire, to look again at the pyramid, not as stone, but as mirror. And if we zoom out far enough, we begin to see that this ancient structure is part of a much larger war, one that spans dimensions, timelines, and species. Beneath the surface level archaeology, behind the myths and misunderstandings, is a living machine that responds to frequency and memory. It is not alone. The black cube, a symbol that appears in ancient and modern culture alike, from the Kaaba to corporate logos to war memorials, is no mere coincidence. It represents the containment of light, the suppression of consciousness, and it is deeply connected to Saturn, the god of time and limitation. Saturn, in turn, emits massive frequency waves, radio signals that are caught and amplified by the moon, which is not just a rock, but a reflector dish placed in our orbit to simulate light, control cycles, and regulate reincarnation. The moon projects a false gate, a synthetic tunnel of light that traps the soul and recycles it into the karmic grid. CERN, the particle collider buried under ancient Apollyakum, may be a modern attempt to reopen or override the ancient gates, using brute force rather than frequency resonance. But it's not just about discovering particles. It's about tearing the veil, breaching protected timelines, and accessing forbidden knowledge. They are trying to override the organic system with a synthetic one. Giza is the original interface, tuned to love, memory, and harmonic alignment. It responds not to machines, but to beings in coherence. This is why it was built, not to house the dead, but to awaken the living. It is a key to the original Earth matrix, the gateway to Amenti, and the memory of who we truly are before the overlays. The war isn't between nations, it's between synthetic timelines and the living architecture seeded into the Earth. The Moon and Saturn form the loop that keeps humanity asleep, while Giza and other Stargate sites like it remain dormant, waiting for the ones who remember how to activate them. CERN tries to punch a hole through what must be sung open. This is not mythology, it is spiritual physics. It is a war for reality itself, and it is you who must remember the codes. The machine under Giza responds to your frequency. They buried the machine in stone, but they encoded the key in you. The Stargate never closed. Humanity just forgot how to knock.
Swing low like a gold-plated crucifix. Holy heart, hang Christ on a Cuban link. Do it my way, do it my way. Blood in my veins, the Messiah is alive. You can hear her in my swing low like a gold-plated crucifix. Holy heart, hang Christ on a Cuban link. Do it my way, do it my way. Blood in my veins, the Messiah is alive. You can hear her in my. I've been carving at this marble stone like Michelangelo since I was like 10 years old, and I was almost at the end of my wits when I saw my truth unfold. I was 25 years old, had that quarter-century glow. Safe and sound, box in the home. What you gonna say to me now? Ace with the crown, I stray straight to the ground, cause I miss my life aiming straight for the crown. The higher the climb is the greater the fall. Stiffer the drink as the deeper you sleep, and the more you put in is the more you withdraw, and the more things blur is a clearer I dream. Rely on me like the words of a saint, and nothing kill quicker than the burden of hate. The circle of time is a curve of your faith. It's pretty abstract, but I fuck with the shape. Loch Ness monster horns in a cave, flames of fury in the devil's face. And once you've conquered all that credulous race, the world ends cause you were 4 minutes late. Going safe and sound, fox in the hell. What you gonna say to me now? Ace with the crown, I stray straight to the ground cause I miss my life.